Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Grimes here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, always helping you win in any marketplace, that consumer advocate of choice here in Tampa Bay. Call the hotline. It's truly the pleasure of our day when we get to speak to our owners, our listeners out there, our audience. 727-263-3707. That's 727-263-3707. And follow us on Insta, CQB Show. At Instagram, at Brandon Rhymes 1 as well as Brandon Rhymes PA. Make sure we friend up out there so you can see our social content. We got a couple of hot listings from our team here. The Keller Williams team also just joined Livian Coastal Elite. That's our new brand as well under the Keller Williams umbrella. Livian Coastal Elite. 2817 Gulf City Road in Ruskin. This is a great development opportunity. I'm surprised it's still on the market. 2817 Gulf City Road in Ruskin. Imagine buying this 23 acres here, putting some townhomes or apartments, condos on it, and then having some nice boat docks right there. 2817 Gulf City Road in Ruskin. Nearly 23 acres of land right here in Hillsborough County. We've got a motivated seller, direct to the Gulf access, deep water access as well. Beautiful property right here in Tampa Bay. You got the dolphin-filled waters of Tampa Bay. Of course, you go out there and go fishing. People love that Ruskin area, that Apollo Beach area. The fishermen do, because you're straight out into the Gulf, and now you're in deep water. You're fishing for the grouper. You're out there. If you're staying inland, you're more for the redfish and the snook. Great opportunity right there at 2817 Gulf City Road in Ruskin. Our other property is 4404 Orient Road. This is a commercial property here in Tampa Bay. Orient Road. It's close to the casino. 6,020 square feet. Well-built office building. You got 5 units that are currently leased. Ample parking. Updated interior. Great investment opportunity. 4404 Orient Road. Right here in beautiful Tampa Bay. And you can see all of our real estate listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Sun is shining. The weather is
All right, coming up as well, we got this mortgage demand at 3-decade low. We're going to talk about that as well during this segment. We're going to welcome in here, first-time guest in the studio, Michael Johnson. Welcome in, sir.
Welcome. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. And Dennison Yachting.
Yeah, Dennison Yachting. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, based here now in Tampa Bay. We're East Coast, very heavy East Coast, and now we're kind of rotating over here to kind of really concentrate on the Tampa Bay area, and there's lots of reasons why.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely. Why do you like the Tampa Bay area?
Well, myself, I'm actually from Chicago, born and raised. I've been down here for now just over 2 years. I've become very accustomed to this town. It's growing on me heavily coming from the Midwest.
Chicago's a good place to be from, right?
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. We're sucking all the food down here, and we're not bringing any cold, so we'll leave that up north. But yeah, it's got it really has this Midwest feel. People are really great. I mean, people are really great here. And it's been so welcoming that it has grown on me over the last 2 years. And then I ended up getting involved with this for it's a really interesting path of how that happened to get involved with the Dennison Yachting teams. But that ended up opening up within the last year to really take on and look at how Tampa Bay is growing and how that actually affects the yachting industry, but also what we can carry on and how we can actually grow the area and get people to explore it, obviously from the water level.
Yeah.
So it's been a really interesting developments, and then here we are today to talk about more about what we're doing and how it's expanding for Tampa. So it's just excited to do that. Yeah.
I love it. Now, when you guys look at expanding, do you do like demographic studies and you look at income per capita, things of that nature? A
little bit, yeah. It's going to fall more on my shoulders on what we're going to do and how it's going to expand within Tampa. You can end up seeing what's going on between Clearwater to St. Pete, what's going on downtown Tampa, but most importantly, what's happening around the bay itself, all the way down to the south end.
Yeah,
we've always had essentially offices we have individuals working within Tampa, but our offices are down in Bradenton. So that we've always hit that Twin Dolphin area and then hitting from the south end up, but now we're really concentrated on what's going on here. And I think the changes that are happening within Tampa, especially over the next 10 years, and all the developments that are happening. I mean, I even know individuals that are from Chicago who used to build buildings up north. They're coming down here. They're being shipped down, and they're putting in permits and everything for buildings that are going on in St. Pete and Tampa. So it's really interesting what's going on. You
know what else is interesting too? We just set up our 10-year anniversary cruise. We're taking a commercial cruise. We went out of the Port Canaveral, the other coast, because Tampa Bay, I guess, whenever these geniuses were planning the Skyway, they didn't build it big enough for these mega yachts, right? So the mega yachts and some of the commercial boat, more industrial type cargo ships. They can't make it underneath that bridge. It's too small.
No, and I don't know if you've done. We for the first time, I actually jumped on one just to kind of do it because it's so close. You can kind of crawl to the ports here. Mm-hmm. But going under it, it's like a 5 foot, 6 foot
I remember
clearance.
one of the last cruises I was on years ago. I was like on the top deck. They're like, "Get up top, come check this out." I mean, it was so close.
Oh yeah, it's really cool. Yeah. It's actually kind of cool to watch. But you make up a good point. It's just there's a lot coming here. There's a lot of opportunity, and that gets into cruise ships are one part, but there's also another level that gets into it, which is the luxury cruise industry.
Yeah,
and that is something we're looking at actually dragging here a little bit bigger. And there's day charters here. You have a lot of individuals. They rent from pontoon boats all the way up to there's some 60-footer azimuths.
Yeah,
that are beautiful yachts that are going out of Clearwater. That's been a big segment here. It really comes down to is can we expand that also through the luxury lines of what you can actually, term charter, which we would say term charter, that is more than 1 day. So you're kind of doing 3 days, maybe 4 days, up to 7 days. And where would that go to? But that's more private because you're going to only do 12 people on a very private yacht.
Right.
Most of that goes out of Nassau. You'll see a lot go out of Fort Lauderdale and in the Caribbean. But are those potentials here in Tampa too, which we believe there are.
Right. Michael J. Johnson in the house, Dennison Yachting. We're talking about yachting here in Tampa Bay and his company. He's based out of Bradenton, and he's got, of course, a heavy presence on the East Coast and more so now coming over to potentially partner up with realtors as well and folks in the industry over here in this area. And, tell us a little bit more about, what you're seeing. Economy-wise, of course, we've all heard inflation and job losses, especially the tech sector is getting hit super hard with jobs. Crime is up in some areas, but not so much here, of course, in our area. What are you seeing as far as the economy, economics-wise?
Well, it's really interesting you say that because it's spread. We deal with different types of clientele. We have clientele that are the individuals that love fishing. They have families. They're within the canals here that are trying to look for 20-footers, 30-footers, center consoles. Center consoles and outboards are really, really big here. Pontoons are really big here. And then you have the other segment, which is you get into the super yachts and the mega yachts. That is an interesting category because that's still exploding. And the center consoles are actually holding pretty well right now. We thought we'd see a drop, and that's kind of essentially what everybody's thinking. Inflation, interest rates are changing. What's that? How is it going to affect the boat industry? But we also are starting to see some consistency because you still have a lot of people moving down here. So there's a lot of individuals coming in. They want to explore for the first time of the ability to own a boat all year round. I mean, come from Chicago, you buy a boat and you're like 3 months you can enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. So I think we're seeing a lot of development on people exploring more, and that's kind of what we wanted to talk about is how do we, from a business standpoint. And I did real estate for years in Chicago, so I kind of relate over to how we operate. And yacht brokers operate in the same sense. We have sellers that want to list a boat and sell a boat. We list it, bring it to the MLS market. We promote it. We obviously try to do our best to obtain buyers. And it's the same thing for buyers. We represent them in a certain way to find the best vessel in the market, how we can represent them in a professional way, what they're getting into, what they're purchasing, and is it the best price for that what they're purchasing too. So we want to represent both sides in the best ability, and we kind of run in the same segment, or if you kind of look at it as a comparable, as realtors. It really is the same. We work in the same capacity.
Right.
So looking at that is that when we started to explore ways here in Tampa to work and build the communities better for the access to water, which is really an amazing way to look at the town.
Right.
How can we do that? And realtors are actually a great resource where they can build their businesses. They can offer extended services to their clientele. They can look at how they can look at the overall property as a community effort. And I use the word community so much because I think with real estate agents, it is not just about selling a home. It's selling a house or property. It's selling a home to somebody that's going to get more than just that house, walking down the street, knowing neighbors, going to the town. Here in Florida, you get so much more from that once you start to explore the waterways.
Yeah.
And I think
lifestyle. It's about the lifestyle here.
100%. Mm-hmm. And I think more realtors that are starting to look at that aspect, and there is the capabilities of adding more services to than just what's on the property. That would be also what's in the water.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Reach out to the hotline if you'd like to talk yachting with Michael Johnson here, 813-917-1894. Actually, call the new hotline at 727-263-3707, 727-263-3707. 3707, and that's our hotline. ConsumerQB.com. You can see links there as well. So Michael Johnson is in studio here. Dennison Yachting is the company, and we're talking. I want to touch on this story here about mortgage demand at a 3-decade low, and then I want to ask you, of course, how that translates over into your industry. Mortgage applications sank to their lowest level in 28 years last week as rising rates and still high home prices keep many buyers out of the market. Mortgage demand fell 6% last week from a week earlier, the third straight weekly drop, and we're down 44% year on year, according to the Mortgage Bankers Association. The average 30-year fixed-rate home loan is now 6.71%. And that's about half a percentage point higher than a month ago and up from 4% in February of last year. So, yeah, that's something that we're facing now is, this rising cost of money. Of course, in your industry, I bet you there's a lot more. You see this cash. You got that elites, especially buying the, maybe 40, 50, 100 footers, right? You're seeing more cash. But, my question to you is how does that relate into the yachting industry in terms of sales? What kind of finance, are you looking at?
It's as you're kind of talking about financing and what buying homes and boats, and you got to kind of be realistic with it. We're here talking about boats, and we're here talking about yachts. It's the one thing people really don't need, right? So we talk about it all the time. We're selling stuff that we're offering an amazing experience which you could get with your money, and it's a depreciated asset just like a car. However, you're getting way more out of it, and I think people look at it that way. It's more an investment into their exploratory part, adventures, and so forth. So with that said, you're kind of getting into, probably our clientele, the clientele that I've seen and that I'm dealing with, about 80% of them are cash. And they just come in and then they know what they want. They know how much they're spending. They keep to it. And they do a really good job keeping within their budgets of what they can obtain and what they want to get, what they're going to do with it. There is a financing opportunity to it. And everybody uses it in different ways. We actually see multimillionaires use it to purchase yachts and put it into charters because they believe it's a better, business investment. And then you have some that do it because they just don't want to outlay that much cash into an asset. So boats do run almost like homes. There's financing options that run from 10 years, 15, and up to 30, depending on if you could qualify for it. And we're seeing 7%, 8%. We're seeing the same rates.
Not bad.
Bouncing around in there. And they're really not bad, depending on, of course, if you could qualify. Right. So, but that opens new doorways because people don't really realize, I could probably maybe get a bigger boat and put it under a financing option that it gets me into really the vessel I really was hoping to get.
Right. Yeah. That next level boat, that next level yacht that you can really enjoy and then turn around, charter it out like those guys. I love, it's funny. I click through every now and watch that Below Deck show, and it's, it's interesting to see the dynamics, of course, and it's just reality TV stuff. But I just enjoy looking at the boats and they're pulling out these jet skis from underneath and the floating. They're having the parties on the beaches and all these exotic areas. So it's kind of an interesting show.
It is. It's we live a little bit of that. We live in that quite a bit. We just actually got back from Nassau last week from the charter show. It was held in the Bahamas, and you had about 40 yachts out there, and they all go out there to be presented to the broker industry. And these are individuals that do have the high clientele that essentially go, look, we're going to use these for our luxury vacations this year. And it is amazing. These people are amazing because the ones that work on the boats, the crews, you get a very small dictation what's in the show. But really what they are is they are just really hard workers. They put a lot of passion into these vessels. They're there. They live on them all day long.
Right.
The owners come in. They have a lot of valued interest in making sure the crews are happy. The people are going to be on their boats are going to be happy. It's really an amazing industry. And they do say a lot of people that take these types of, these charters, you'll never go back to anything else because it's just really, the experiences are just really above and beyond.
I bet.
And some of these things get up to $250,000 a week. We've got some we are promoting one that's about $115,000, $130,000 a week.
Wow.
But you do get some that are $40,000, $50,000 a week and split about 12 people. It's really not that bad when you think of everything being included. So there's really an amazing industry that's going on that end that people could tap into too.
Now, is there a VRBO or Airbnb of that industry, the yachting industry?
Essentially, yes. There's actually a lot of companies that are coming to market that do offer a really easy way where you can go online and kind of just book charters. But most of them end up being more day charters, like 4-hour or 8-hour time slots that you can kind of handle out on like a Saturday.
Got it.
The bigger stuff essentially goes through what we call charter brokers. They're kind of like really high-end tourists agencies that handle really, really high-end clientele or clientele that are just looking for some new experiences.
Very cool. Yeah. All right, we're going to take take a quick break. We're going to come back more with Michael Johnson here, Dennison Yachting on the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. Feel-good story of the day coming up as well. Dave Grohl showed up with no publicity and took to cook and serve for 500 homeless people. That's the Foo Fighters frontman. So that's our feel-good story of the day. We'll be right back here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Thanks for listening.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for sticking with us. Brandon Rhymes here, Consumer Quarterback Show, Platinum MVP team, Keller Williams Realty. We always like to feature our real estate listings here in Tampa Bay. We got a hot listing here in Tampa Bay. This one's Clearwater. It's 1611 El Terre Trail in Clearwater. One of our completely renovated properties. Perfect turnkey opportunity for you if you're looking to buy real estate here in Tampa Bay. 1641 El Terre Trail in Clearwater. 2555 square feet, 4 bedroom, 3 bath. Completely updated turnkey rental opportunity for you as well right here in Tampa. You can see all of our listings at platinummvpteam.kw.com.
Buy dirt, find one you can't live without.
And we got a lot of vacant land listings as well, about a dozen or so vacant land ranging from 30 acres on down to small lots in neighborhoods. Here's our feel-good story.
Tell me something good.
All right, Foo Fighters frontman Dave Grohl helped feed hundreds of homeless people during a 24-hour barbecue cooking session in Los Angeles for Hope the Mission. Grohl spent over 24 hours volunteering at Los Angeles shelter. Quote, he arrived around 3 in the afternoon and he was in our kitchen. He was prepping the meat, he was cutting it up, and he was there until he put it on the smoker, and Chetta told Today. Grohl, who finds cooking therapeutic, also volunteered the next day to help serve the meals. And there's another quote here says, he actually served to our guest. He came out and was very gracious, and he took pictures with the people that recognized him. And Chetta said he wanted no glory for it. He was like, I just want to do this for you guys to give back. So there you have it, our feel-good story of the day. We always love those feel-good segments on the program. And we have Michael Johnson in studio today, Dennison Yachting here. We're talking about yacht broker situation where you can sell, if you're looking to buy or sell. Just like you said with us, on the real estate side, we're representing buyers, we're representing sellers, and sometimes, the yachting in between.
Yeah, we do. And then I think what a big highlight we want to talk to some of your audience, because I know you deal with a lot of realtors, is that we are opening up these programs to expand their services so they can get into, some are taking it by the horns and kind of going, look, we're doing luxury condos and condos and homes with luxury yachts, right? So we're doing luxury homes with luxury yachts. And that is now available. We're actually working with realtors and diligently to get them set up to where they don't need to know anything about yachts and boats, but they can now offer those services to their clients. A lot of individuals obviously are selling a home that has a dock or marine access out back. That kind of opens that door to, what are you doing with your boat? Are you going to sell it? Are you going to transfer it? No, I'm going to sell it. Good. You know what? Besides the house, let me get you in touch with somebody that actually can get that sold. And then we set up a partnership with them so they do get a benefit from the revenue that does come from the boat sales.
Yeah, I like that. And, let's say, for example, if you were to buy a 50 or 60-foot yacht, what kind of rental earning potential could you have? I mean, could you almost break even on something like that if you enter it into the charter program?
Yeah, it's never the purchase of the yacht. It's always the operation of the yacht. And the idea is to reduce your operational costs between mooring, maintenance, cleaning, and then if you decide, of course, put crew on, it gets exponential. So a lot of our clients do look at the option of like, holy cow, I was going to buy a 30, 40 footer, but I didn't know if I got an 80, 90 footer. There's a niche for it in the chartering market, and I could reduce my operational costs. Every boat's got a different type of level of what it'll bring in, what it is, if you're going to do day charters, if you're going to do term. We have a team that looks at that. They do an analysis in the market, what has been renting, what's the demand, does that boat kind of fit into that? And we can actually give a little bit of an insight before you even buy the boat. So,
yeah, I like that. You can kind of run a pro forma in a sense and give them an idea of, hey, here's what you could expect. I like that. I think that's very interesting. I've got a good friend down in Fort Lauderdale. I'll visit him every now and then, and last time he lives right on the canal. He's got a nice boat, just a smaller, 30-foot or something, but just a really nice fishing boat. We go out there and, we'll catch some dolphin or, different fish off the coast in Fort Lauderdale. But what really strikes me every time I'm down there, man, is just the size of those yachts. Almost every corner, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. Is that the yachting capital of the world next to like Monte Carlo and some of those places in Italy?
It is. We carry an immense amount of yachts that fit down there. It's just because of the depth of the channels that are in there, the rivers. they can get them into, and the amount of marinas that can hold them. But yes, and then plus the access where it could go, because you can essentially hit anywhere going south all the way down to St. Lucia if you want to. Yeah. So it does open a little bit of a door for the bigger stuff to be down there.
Yeah. I did a Disney cruise back in the day. I think it was like 2009. It was awesome. It was like 15 or 16-day trip. It was the Mediterranean, and it was pretty cool because we were hitting all the really awesome ports. So I flew into Barcelona. We went to Malta. Tunis, Tunisia, North Africa, then to Malta, then we went over to France, Italy first, 3 ports of Italy, and then the south of France, Corsica. But it was really neat to see, some of those areas. The Monte Carlo sticks out, and Naples, Italy, and some of those different places. But on the way back, we ran into some pretty rough seas. It was crazy because you know how big those cruise ships are. I forgot how many feet, 650 or 700 feet. This ship was rocking, man. It was unbelievable. The ship was literally, and they came over the thing and started talking like, we're in rough waters here, and like, I can tell that. Yeah. And wine glasses falling down. I mean, it was crazy. And he's like, so they just took it right back closer to the shore, and that kind of died it down. But some of those boats, even as big as they are, Mother Nature and God has something else to say. Inside of that. Got about a minute. Back to you, my friend.
And it's that's the biggest thing is that it depends on if you're a boater or not. And when you get on those, some of them, like to me, the more they rock, the more I sleep. So it just depends on the individual. So So I think in the end is that we do have availabilities for work with realtors. Can reach out to us direct on how those programs work. Also, we're going to be at the Armature Works Boat Show this year. It'll actually be the first time that Denison's got a really great boat show that we're going to be inserting into town. So that's going to be on the March 31st, 1st and 2nd. We're going to be actually launching a brand new manufacturer called Lecker Boats. It is like an Amsterdam little, it looks like a sailboat or rowboat you would have like in the old days, but it's metal and it fits 25 people. It goes 40 knots. The thing is unbelievable. So we have new boats out there that fit in Tampa Bay. Come on out and see us. Otherwise, give us a call direct.
DennisonYachting.com.
You got it. Yes.
DennisonYachting.com. That's DENISON Yachting.com. Michael, thanks for coming in.
I appreciate it. No, really.
My pleasure.
Hope to see you again.
Absolutely. All right. Hey, another great show. We had attorney Millie at Dennison and, of course, Michael Johnson on the program. I want to thank our producers, and we want to thank you as well for tuning in and supporting the program, supporting the local economy. Please go out there and consider committing a random act of kindness. Do something kind for one another. Be a force for good in the community, and we'll see you next time right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
You've been listening to The Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.